Hello, sweet souls. It is DTO in the flow, and I want you to know that I am at Embody, Costa Rica, and today I get to interview an extraordinary, amazing, talented artist, Corina Rose. And before we get started, you can see, of course, her performing in this beautiful video. And I want to share with you where I am in the world and invite anyone that would like to come to Embody, Costa Rica. This is our amazing wellness and retreat center. This is the yoga shala where I'm currently at. And if you haven't met my beloved Himalaya, this is us after a beautiful ecstatic dance. You can see all the magic that we share here. So check us out. You can go to embodycostarica.com. Some of you know me as a musician. You can go to my DTO pages and check it out. And throughout this interview, because we are live streaming, those algorithms are hungry hippos. So we got to make sure we feed them. So even if you just comment with an emoji, it'll help this come to the top. And if you're watching live, then you can comment, ask a question, and we always ask you to share about this amazing interview that I'm about to introduce Corina Rose in one moment. So who is Corina Rose? As you can see from the video, she is a talented musician, born and raised in San Diego. And when she sings, she feels a deep connection to the divine, especially through her throat chakra. Growing up, she worked at her family's farm stand selling vegetables, while her father frequently filled the house with music, singing his favorite song, Summertime. Corina Rose began singing as a young girl and performed The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston in her 4th grade talent show. Oh my gosh, I hope there's video of that. And it was a transformative moment in her life. She attended UC Santa Cruz, where she majored in classical voice, although she was more drawn to jazz and world music. Her favorite class was Latin American Ensemble, where she played panpipes and sang in Quechua. After college, Corina traveled to Southeast Asia and later joined a rock band as a lead singer. She then joined a band called Rising Star, singing with them for 3 years in a variety of San Diego venues. And that's where she wrote and recorded her first album. So after Rising Star, Corina formed her own band, learned how to play the guitar, began teaching music full-time. Her personal development journey, along with her love for teaching, inspired her to write and release a second album called Love is Everywhere. And in 2019, she released her third album, Our Love is Freedom, which was nominated for Best Pop Album by the San Diego Music Awards. Amazing. This album explores a variety of aspects of love, self-love, cosmic love, romantic love, and love for humanity. All right, without further ado, let's bring on the talented and amazing Corina Rose. And I'm so grateful.
Hi, everyone.
Yay. So Corina and I met once upon a time in San Diego County. I lived there for 2 decades, and many of you know I'm here in Costa Rica, and you're in San Diego, born and raised. It's hard to find someone that was actually born in San Diego. There's so many immigrants and migrants and people that come to California from afar.
That's what everyone says when they meet me. Wow, you're from here? Yep. But I travel a lot, and then I come back.
Naturally, yeah. It's a beautiful place, right? The finest city in America.
It really is a pretty spot.
Amazing. All right, well, let's kick off this 5Q interview. Some of you that are new to this, I ask 5 questions to my guests, and it's a whole storyline, and every superhero has an origin story. And here we go. Question number 1. So when did you fall in love with music? How did it all begin?
Well, like you read in my bio, I believe I got my love for music from my dad because he sang when I was a kid. And also I got my love of music probably from my 2nd grade teacher who had a piano, and we used to sing every morning in class. And I just remember singing in the talent shows, probably listening to Whitney Houston. I was in a little singing, a community singing group when I was a little kid in the neighborhood. And there was just something special to me about singing. I really resonated with it from a young age. So I always felt like singing just felt really special to me. So that's how I started loving music.
Yes, well, hooray for your father for bringing in that passion, that love. And yeah, in my case, my mother was the one that performed music. And so that's great that your dad liked to sing and brought those beautiful songs into your heart as a little girl. And obviously it worked. Now you're creating music professionally in the world. You get to tour, you get to teach. So super powerful.
And
All
thanks
right.
to Whitney Houston. Thanks to
Yeah,
Whitney.
of course. Legendary Whitney Houston. Oh my gosh. I think I watched
Mhm.
her documentary on a flight one time and I was just like blown away by just everything she got to accomplish and achieve in her career. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. So now that you got inspired by your father and learned about this powerful energy in the world called music, so what was it that inspired you personally to write your own music?
It's an interesting question because as a kid, so I was singing in choirs. I was doing dance classes. I was very performance oriented. I liked theater and all this stuff. Taking voice lessons, even took a little piano lessons, but it didn't really connect with me because no one ever told me I could write my own song. And so it wasn't until college that I think I had an epiphany where I realized that I could write my own song. Because then even in college, I was singing opera and I was singing in different languages and I was always singing other people's music. So it was a big like eye-opening thing when I thought, wow, I could write a song. And yet my dad was into folk music and folk musicians write these songs from the heart. So I think that was in me, but I didn't have the confidence to try it out. And I think I gave it a shot when I first taught myself guitar and I wrote my first song. So I think it wasn't until I picked up a guitar that the songs started coming out.
Amazing. Yeah. And when I think of you, and it was, the way we met is through the San Diego music scene. I always imagine you with a guitar. So it's great that, that has become such a pathway for you to
Yeah.
write music, to hear music, to play music. Um, and so when you play guitar and sing, when you first started that journey, how was that for you? Because, I know a lot of singers that playing and singing at the same time can be a bit just like
Yeah.
I learned how to play the drums. It was like, wait, I got to move all 4 limbs at the same time.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it probably
I
takes a
mean,
lot of practice, right?
so I was a singer my whole life and I didn't pick up guitar till like late 20s. And it was a huge learning curve to try to sing and play guitar. And I feel like I'm still really learning still to blend the two and to kind of play what I want on guitar and to sing what I want. But I really love the challenge because people always say, well, why don't you just be a singer? But I feel like I don't want to just be a singer anymore. I feel like I might get bored because I love the challenge. So
Mm-hmm.
that's that.
Amazing. Wow. I love that you have now been able to take both of those passions of singing and then, of course, being your own accompaniment. And I dug up this photo recently, so I'm putting this up for people to see. So when Hemale and I lived in San Diego, we had a housewarming party, and you got to come and serenade us. And it's our friend Charles back there. And so, as I mentioned, I think of you as a singer, songwriter, and guitarist, which is so wonderful. Um, all right. Well, let's hop into question number 3. So this is more of like a creative process conversation that, if you're out there listening, if you're not a musician, if you're not someone that you consider like a creative soul, maybe you are more of like listening or watching other people's creations in the world. There may not be a lot of recognition of like how it works for each individual artist from silence, which is the place we work in, right? It's like if you're a painter, you work with a blank canvas. So how do you, Corina Rose, go from silence to creating a whole song? Explain that process for people.
That's so interesting. How do I go from silence to a song? So it has to be silent. So either I'm meditating or I'm driving or something. Sometimes I drive in silence and I get like a download. I'll get a lyric or a melody or something like that. that's one way. Another way is I'm sitting with my guitar and I'm picking out some chords, and I'll write some lyrics. A lot of times I get inspired by a song I really like, and I'll use the same chord progression and then change the words. That's a pretty common one. And I always have the chord structure and the melody, and then I take that to any number of different producers that I've worked with. And so once I get the chords and the melody and the song structure, the producer will add drums and bass and any type of electronic sounds, and we create from there. And that's actually the most fun part for me, is working with other people and creating a full song, more so than just guitar and vocals, which is lovely if you're doing acoustic stuff, and a song should stand on its own in that way. But I love to add all those different parts and work with different people that kind of hear these little things that I wouldn't hear. And then when we're working together, the sound of the song really comes out, and it's awesome.
Well, thanks for explaining. And that's amazing, because the download or the idea, it can be like a bolt of lightning, right? Sometimes you're just like, whoa. I always like that scene in Back to the Future. It was like 1.21 gigawatts, where like there's like this boom, this idea that comes into our minds. And I imagine sometimes you're just singing in the shower, singing in your car, and there's just some phrasing, maybe the words or the lyrics aren't there, but sometimes you're just creating a melody. And then from there, as you said, collaboration, which you've probably heard me say this, like collaboration is my love language. So we both are in that same experience of, because we're not going to be able to play every single instrument on planet Earth, which I don't believe any person alive or dead has ever been able to accomplish, that we all get to like tap into our own skill sets and, bringing in all these different layers. Then over time, it can create a cohesive journey, which, this day and age is a 3 to 5 minute song, which I think is a really beautiful opportunity for us to talk about your new release. So can we be friends? The answer is yes.
Can I tell you about the creative process of this song?
Absolutely.
Was really interesting, actually, because I wrote it. So the chord progression of this song is based off the song Summertime, which is a song near and dear to my heart, right?
Yeah,
so it's the jazzy version of Summertime, but I rewrote it with my own words, and I wrote it about the producer I worked with on my last album, and I kind of fell in love with him as we were making this album, but I knew we were just friends. So the song is Can We Be Friends, even though I'm in love with you. And it's just wild, right? Like like we were working in such proximity that I sort of like, we were doing music and I kind of fell in love, yet I knew we were just friends. And so I just wrote this song back in 2020, and then I recorded it a couple other times with different people, and I didn't really like how it came out, so I never put it out. And then it's 2024, and I'm like, I got to put this song out. If I don't put it out, I'm going to regret it. And even though it had been so much time and I'd already done it twice, I was like, all right, you just got to do this. So I tried a different producer, and third time's a charm. I love the way it came out this time. And so I released it, like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago or something. A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love how it came out. So it just goes to show every creative process is really unique. And sometimes you have to keep trying and try again. And if it doesn't work, try again and take a break. I don't know, all these things,
Yeah. And I always feel that, well, now that you mentioned there's this beautiful connection that you had, it's like that scene in Ghost where like there's two people throwing a pot together, but you're like guiding the song, you're guiding the energy, right? And
so funny.
It feels like we're, these divine beings, that there's all these ideas that are possible. Like, how many chord progressions are there? Of course, you said Summertime, and there's all these different ways that songs can be written, but it's almost like our cosmic duty that if we have this deep connection to a potential song, that we're giving birth to it, or we're allowing for the song. And I love how you said you needed to change producers, because sometimes they're not going to know the vision of what it is that you desire. And it takes sometimes letting go of either people or certain ideas in order for the song to truly emerge and be the exact manifestation that you had in your original thought process, and or at least the energy in your heart, right? Because sometimes you feel like, oh, this is the song I'm feeling, and then you take all these different paths along your way, and then when you finally get it, you're just like, we did it, so that's great. I love that process.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I wouldn't even say, oh my gosh. I would just say I didn't really have anything in mind. And so when I'm working with, like, for example, like the second producer, I was like, sure, this is fine. This is good. But then like later I was like, something's just not right. But in the moment I was like, yeah, let's go with that. This is good. So for myself, it was an evolution of trusting myself and like, just like being open to who you're working with, and saying, yeah, sure, let's try that. But then later being like, that's just not quite it. Close, but not it.
Definitely. Yeah. Stay true to the song, right? Just, you have to be like the gatekeeper sometimes, to be like, hey, no, that's not the authentic style that I was going for.
Something. But what I realize, how I don't know about other people, but myself, I tend to fall in love with who I'm working with because we're working on music. So this song is funny because it's not, I didn't really fall in love with them in like the romantic sense, but as a friend, I'm like in love with you because we're making music together, and like you're sensing my soul in like this beautiful way. So it's just so cool to recognize, like, even a friendship. Can we be friends? Even though I'm in love with you, but but at the end I say, but we can still be cool, because I actually have this like awareness that like we're not really in love. We're not really going to be. You're not like a romantic partner, but like I'm in love with you because of we share this common interest in music, and we're making music. I don't know. I like that aspect that the song speaks to, that intricate like intimacy, but in a unique way that like,
Well, I love that. Yeah. Well, here's a beautiful photo of you sharing your magic out there in the world. This is on your website. So for anyone that's watching, you can go to corinarose.com. And yeah, so once you write the song, let's jump into question number 4. How do people respond to your music? Do you have any stories of people that have come up to you that have shared about the impact? What do people tend to share with you after they've experienced your art in the world?
Well, this is a cool question because honestly, I wouldn't be performing if it wasn't for the response to people. The response that I get from people when I perform, because I tend to get in my own way a lot. And sometimes I think like, oh, I don't know, should I really, or whatever, I'll make up excuses. But then when I do perform, the response is always so wonderful that I am always really glad that I chose to get out of my own way and perform. For example, this one time I sang a song that I wrote called Love is Everywhere. And I wrote it years ago with lyrics that were inspired by Michael Bernard Beckwith, the founder of the Agape Spiritual Center. So it has to do with the love between people, and the love between all of humanity, and the love between like the universe, the cosmos, and your spirit, and all these things. So really transcendent kind of love. And it was at this bar. It was like I was a featured guest at some open mic. So it was, I thought in my head, like, this may not resonate, but I don't care. I'm going to sing the song that speaks to me. And after that song, somebody came up and said that song inspired them to propose to their partner. And I was like, really? They're like, yeah, I heard your song. I heard the lyrics that love is everywhere. And I felt like, you're right. I need to propose. So that was amazing. And so they really were like, I'm grateful you wrote that song. I'm grateful you sang that song, because apparently they needed the reminder that love is everywhere. And this love between each other and all of humanity and all the worlds it is so profound that you recognize it and you want to spend your life with someone. And so they proposed, and I thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh, that is so extraordinary. It's just, I feel that same piece around that cyclical energy. Both of us are teachers, so we all know that there's 4 stages of communication, right? There's the sender, which is you. There's the message, which is the song. There's
Mm-hmm.
the receiver, which is the person. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's the feedback, which is that response. And then the action that took place afterwards is so extraordinary. So I love that people respond in that way.
I've never heard it so eloquently stated in 4 steps, because I receive all those 4 steps in real time as I'm singing, and I'm seeing someone in the audience, for example, someone with their eyes closed and their hands up when I'm singing. That's awesome, because I'm like, all right, they're really feeling it. That's a good one. So I'm obviously sending the message and then getting their feedback immediately. So that's cool.
Yeah, and that's what we call a feedback loop in the context of communication, right? So,
yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
And I noticed if I don't sing for a long time, I get depressed, and then it's hard to sing. So I have to keep doing it so that I can get the feedback, so that I can keep doing it. So funny.
I feel like we're very similar in that space where in contrast to Himalaya, my wife, like she needs to go inward and be in her own little world to almost like recharge her batteries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like being introverted. I'm more of an extrovert where I get like phenomenal energy when I'm in community, when I'm on a stage, and as you said, when someone has their eyes closed, their hands up, you just recognize like there is a power of music, and it's coming through your throat chakra. It's coming through this divine channel that you are. And it does, like, it keeps that momentum, that movement moving forward. And I feel like a lot of artists out there at some point, like they know that if there's an audience that consistently is desiring more and more, and they love what you're up to, it keeps you motivated. Even those days when you crawl out of bed on the wrong side and you're like, I don't know if I want to be doing this or that, or because, it's we've talked about this before, is, sometimes the path of a musician is very challenging. And The Artist's Way, there's actually a very famous book called The Artist's Way, talks about how you will have resistance, not only out in the world potentially, but in your own soul's journey. You might just be like, I want to give up. What am I doing this for?
Yeah. I feel like that a lot.
Yeah,
and I have to convince myself to keep going, because I know that I've been given this gift that not everybody has, and we take it for granted because I have it. So I don't realize how special it is until I start talking to someone, and I'm like, oh, you don't sing? You don't write music? Oh. So
some people, have no clue of what it takes. And guess what? Talking about other people, we have Corina Rose that just commented. She's watching this live.
That's so great. She's watching it on Facebook.
Yeah, she's there. She said, we're her 2 faves. Oh, we love you.
That is so cool.
Uh-huh.
People streaming in.
Yeah, she's super
people
mom.
are streaming in.
Totally. So much fun. Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like this has been a phenomenal opportunity for people to understand your origin story, how you have created this musical career of yours, your process of writing music, and more music is yet to come. I know you have lots more in the makings. And of course, you already have this song that's out, Can We Be Friends? So let's jump into question 5, which is, it's kind of like a grab bag. You choose. You could have any closing words. You could have some advice, wisdom. You can invite anyone to check you out online. So I'll let you have the floor for the 5th question.
Thank you so much. Well, it was great talking with you, and I definitely want to come to Costa Rica and relax and surf and meditate and do yoga and also perform. So I want to do both. I want to have a vacation, but I'd love to meet some local musicians in Costa Rica and put a band together, put on a show in the yoga shala. And I'm like imagining doing some fun covers, because I'm the type of artist, I love doing covers. I know some people are like, I only do original music. Well, I really feel like you can get the crowd going by doing some fun covers. Like one of my favorites is Let's Get It On. And I do a lot of Amy Winehouse songs. And I try to mix those in with my original music. And I try to make my original music really groovy and really fun, with a message of spirit and love and all the great things about life. And I would love to connect with anybody watching. So please send me a message if you're a musician and you want to collaborate, or you want to have a house concert or a benefit concert. I do love to, an activist. I love to have fundraisers for your cause. Any kind of performance or whatever you're up to in the world, let me know so we can connect and we can maybe create music, or we can create some change in the world. We can do wonderful things. So yeah, that's how you make life great, is by all your connections.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love your first opening page on your website. Hello, and how are you? I hope
Yeah.
your soul is at peace. So I love how you're already a peacemaker and an activist, and you're sharing your light in the world. And so everyone out there, go to corinarose.com, check out her music, reach out to her directly. She has a contact button so you can connect with her. Let her know that you saw this podcast. Let her know that you'd like to either have a concert, a show, whatever you desire. And I'm grateful that your music is out there. You can listen on all global platforms to the music. And for musicians out there like Corina Rose, it helps a lot if you listen often to the music, if you reach out, if you even send a personal message on Instagram. It gives us all that feedback loop, as we talked about earlier. Just like, okay, people are listening, people are inspired. So let's keep the flow flowing. And thank you, Corina, for being here. And yes, I look forward for your visit to Costa Rica.
So people can find me on Instagram, is where I'm most active and where I'll probably post if I'm doing a show or something like that. But definitely send me a message, or add me, follow, share, like, comment. All those things really help an independent musician. And I do have another new song coming out. Just put out a song, Can We Be Friends? My next new song is called 2 Times Worse. It's going to be a good one. And then probably in the beginning of 2025, I'll have my 4th album out, and that's going to be called Love Is for the Brave. And I might even record a few songs in Costa Rica with DTO. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Here's a little snippet.
Fuck, what do I do? We just up for 3 hours on the phone, but you don't want to be with me. And it's time to affect my sanity. We be friends, even though I'm in love with you.
Amazing.
Fuck, what do I do? We just up for 3 hours on the phone, but you don't want to be with me. And it's time to affect my sanity.
Amazing music.
You were going to make me play live in the interview. I've done that before.
Well, let's show a quick little clip of you doing live.
Your love is magic, can't believe my eyes. Is this a truth or a disguise? I guess it's magic. 'Cause I don't understand why it feels so bad when I touch your head, look into your eyes. Baby, every time I feel it high, it's not just a candy sky.
That was a fun show. I did that a couple weeks
ago
in South Park Walkabout outside of my friend's surf shop. That was a really fun show.
Oh, I love it. Well,
thanks.
Make sure everyone out there, so good to connect with you. As we see here, check out Corina Rose.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
En español, corinarose.com. All right. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Appreciate you.
Talk to you later. Hablo después. Hasta luego.
Claro, pura vida. Hasta luego. Nos vemos. Chao.